Chicago is one of those places where the crime has always been terrible. And this weekend was another one. Not necessarily because of the amount of people who got shot this weekend. Obviously, that's a major problem as well, but it's not the most we've seen. But because of what actually took place with the loss of a specific officer over the course of this weekend in Chicago. So at least 67 people were shot. And this is just the run-of-the-mill crime. And this is just since Friday, since we have that report on Sunday. So just a couple of days, you have 67 people shot in the hospital with something like that just over the course of the weekend. 10 were shot fatally. So 10 people died due to gunshot wounds that are just civilians and whatnot. But also a police officer also lost her life as well in the line of duty. Her name was Ella French. Here's a picture of that as well. She was 29 years old. Chicago police officer was murdered Saturday night during a traffic stop of all things. And, the thing is that she also left behind a 2-month-old daughter after being shot and killed at around 9 p.m. that night. So basically the reports were showing that 2 men and 1 woman were in a car, and then someone had opened fire on them at this kind of routine traffic stop. The officers fired back. The 2 men were taken into custody. 1 was injured. The woman is apparently still at large at this moment. So really tragic incident that you have going on there. And really what this makes me think about is when you really take a second to look at what's going on, especially over the course of the last year, when you look at BLM and everything like that, the demonization of these cops is entirely unfair. And many people have brought this up, where sometimes the most dangerous thing for a cop is actually getting shot in a situation where they don't expect to be shot. And so many people assume, oh, well, it's what do they expect when they, go to chasing after some guy that just robbed a bank or something? Well, yeah, everybody's on high alert. But when you pull over somebody for a traffic stop, you have no idea what those people are going to do. It could have been for an expired tag. Who knows? Maybe it was a stolen vehicle. You don't know what you're going to expect when you pull somebody over. And this traffic stop wound up turning into the last thing that they ever did. And that is a problem. It's a problem that is a Chicago issue at large, has been for a while, by the way. And it's a problem with the Democrats that are in charge. Remember, these places that have the highest gun violence are the same ones that advocate for all of these rules on guns, have the strictest gun laws, and yet they still have these problems. And Lori Lightfoot's a perfect example of that. The mayor of Chicago that refuses to take responsibility for what's going on, refuses to actually do anything about this. So she said in this tweet here that I'm showing, today in an official day of mourning for the city, we lost a young officer. I offer my condolences to her mother, brother, family, and friends. Please keep the officer in the hospital and the CPD in your prayers. Some say we don't do enough for the police. Others say we do too much. All of this must stop. We have a common enemy. It's guns and violence they bring. So it's just the guns and the violence. It's not the people that actually do that. It's these arbitrary tools that people are using to conduct these murders and shooting people all over the city. I mean, when you read this, it's just so disingenuous. Just to see somebody try to entirely just take away the impact of what actually took place and really look to see what is the real problem in Chicago right now. Folks, if she was right about it being guns, it would have worked by now. Chicago has some of the strictest rules on guns in the entire country. It didn't work. The laws don't work. The problem is the people that are wielding these guns, that are managing to get them regardless of whether there's a strict gun law or not there. And she's basically saying some people do too, or she's saying in her statement when she's saying, well, some people say we don't do enough. Some people say we do too much. Who's saying you do too much? I mean, maybe some of the radical BLM people. But the fact is that she's just basically saying, hey, look, let's not have this discussion. It's guns. Guns are the common enemy, not the criminals. I mean, she legitimately thinks that all of a sudden you take these guns away, people are just gonna turn into saints. But anyway, so she goes on, she says, 2 young people did what we asked for them. Service over self, and 1 paid with her life. Devoted officers reported for duty today despite their fears and pain. These officers deserve to make it home safely today and every day. But even what she's saying in this kind of that first tweet there, where she's saying 2 young people did what we asked of them. Service over self. Look, once again, this is obviously that's what they signed up to do. But the way that when it's coming from somebody that's basically saying it wasn't the criminals, it was the guns that did it. And then they make this statement. It just comes off as so disingenuous. Like, well, she was doing her job, which that's what we asked her to do, is to basically die in the line of duty. But it's the guns. It's the guns, not the criminals. That's the mind of somebody that is clearly out of touch with the actual problems of Chicago. And like I said, if she was correct about any of this, the problems would have been solved. But they haven't been solved. They've only been getting worse because of people like her that refuse to actually look at the real situation behind everything. Once again, taking away the guns. Let's just kind of pretend here for a second. If you take away all of the guns, do you really think that all the criminals are going to turn into God-fearing saints? Because that's not what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what the weapon of choice is. It could be a machete, a knife, or anything. They're going to find a way to hurt people because they're criminals. So either clean up the criminal behavior or just resign. Because the problem is that she's costing lives by not doing her job and continues to blame other people. Meanwhile, she's the same one that's on the streets, in the streets, protesting, telling people, advocating for defund the police. I mean, it's mind-boggling that it isn't even worse than it is. But it's continuously going up and up and up and up. Because and what I find very interesting too is on Twitter, if you go and look at the comments, you're seeing a lot of the citizens of Chicago, black people included, that are saying, this is crazy, this is ridiculous, we just want to feel safe. I hope that people realize well enough when I read these comments that, hey, maybe it's the fact that you need to get rid of this person that is a Democrat. Maybe you need somebody that's going to uphold law and order. Maybe you need to, not stand with somebody that supports defund the police. Maybe then you might actually get, what you're actually looking to get out of this. Because right now, none of this is going to work. And when you have officers losing their lives like this, and a person that refuses to accept the real responsibility in this situation from it, it's just terrible. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.